pretty good this time. He said there wasn't any dogs in this one. So, I mean, it's just so much better. Wait, is that dogs? Oh, man. Come on. No! No. Just stay down. Stay down. No, man. No. Why is it always dogs?
Resident Evil 4 needs no introduction. It is considered to be the pinnacle of the Resident Evil series for its over-the-shoulder gunplay, battling untold grotesque horrors in the backwoods of Spain. Critics have often said that while departure from the past titles was a saving grace for the franchise, Resident Evil 4 was more action than horror. What if I told you that this wasn't entirely true? That there is, in fact, more horror than anyone realizes. In this video, we uncover the true terror of Resident Evil 4 Remake, and the truth will absolutely shock you. Hello and welcome to the Inner Sanctum. My name is John Nobody, you are the audience, and we are the Nobodies of Gaming. Finally, our official debut, and it couldn't have come at a more fitting time. Halloween. And no better a game than Resident Evil 4 Remake, an absolute masterpiece of a game. We examine part of the main campaign with Leon and separate ways with Ada Wong. Like and subscribe to the Nobodies of Gaming to help us in our ongoing mission as we bear witness to the best and most influential games the video game industry has to offer today. Spoilers ahead for Resident Evil 4 Remake and Separate Ways. You've been warned. To understand where the true terror lies in Resident Evil 4 Remake, we first have to understand where the terror was in previous titles. Wait, I guess that means Resident Evil 4 does need an introduction. Hey editor son, cut that part out. Resident Evil had the slow claustrophobia inside Spencer's mansion, tank controls, small inventories, save ribbons, and the infamous loading screens while opening doors. The game wants you to feel like you're in a haunted house of horrors, and the static camera angles add to tension and the paranoia, both of what you can't see and what you can. Resident Evil 2 Original had more of the same, with a different location and a new protagonist. Resident Evil 2 Remake took the original concept, mixed it with some of Resident Evil 4's design principles, and created the Raccoon City incident, and redefined what would bring the horror in this iteration. The freedom of movement provided by the over-the-shoulder perspective was liberating, but the crafty developers at Capcom understand that giving the player that kind of freedom might make things a little less scary. I mean, if you can just Call of Duty your way through, what's so scary about some zombies? Woo! Hey, wait. Who changed the script? To offset this new power, the zombies were made tougher. The inventory space was left small. The headshots had critical damage randomized. Nothing will make you squeeze your butt cheeks faster than putting 2 rounds in a zombie's head and having it tank right through. The sound design was tailored to fit the amazing use of lighting to completely unnerve the player. The addition of Mr. X as a constant pursuer through the police station was an act of pure genius. Best of all, the general feel of Resident Evil 2 was kept mostly intact, but a new identity was also forged with the new changes. Resident Evil 2 Remake was its own kind of masterpiece, and it would be a legitimate Game of the Year contender for 2019. Resident Evil 3 and Resident Evil 3 Remake. We don't talk about those two. The wounds are still fresh. Fast forward to Resident Evil 4, the absolute peak of the Resident Evil series. The granddaddy of the over-the-shoulder perspective that has become near industry standard for games even beyond the horror genre. The legend of this game has been retold many times, and with good reason, because even I can't believe it. The game had gone through a few iterations before finally landing on the finished version we all know, and the team, led by industry legend Shinji Mikami, apparently wrote the off-the-rails story of Resident Evil 4 over a weekend and implemented the finer details over the course of 3 weeks, or so the legends say. The famous formula that makes up the Resident Evil 4 was stumbled upon by accident. Lightning in a bottle. But that's not what happened to Resident Evil 4 Remake though. The mad geniuses at Capcom studied thoroughly from their predecessors and managed to create an amazing facsimile of the original, and managed to perfect the true terror in Resident Evil 4 Remake. Several hours in, as Leon and Ashley are making their way through the castle, a perfect example of the true terror found in Resident Evil 4 Remake was demonstrated by our testing team. As Leon is trapped with the Berserker, all the elements are at play at once. The surprise revelation. The struggling Berserker breaks free and follows you into the next room, all the while the music kicks in and raises the tension. A well-timed parry with a knife, and our Nobody repositions and fires with their handgun. Then comes the swap to the Stingray rifle. Which makes quick work with perfect shots on the parasite. Excellent work by our tester. And where was the terror in the scene? Was it the Berserker reveal? Was it the chains around you threatening to give away your position? None of these things. The real terror came long before this encounter. The real terror was in you. Resident Evil 4 Remake is a carefully crafted space that effectively does 3 things. It curates the experience to push the narrative forward, it creates tension, and it encourages self-determination. 3 strong concepts that make up the majority of the experience we all know and love. The third of these concepts is where the true magic lies. The development team for the older Resident Evil titles had wanted to make a change to the formula, which had been well worn by the first 3 games. Giving the player choices on the way they engage combat instead of keeping the player on rails was a stroke of genius that opened up many possibilities, and all of them determined by the player themselves. The opening introduction leads into the infamous scene in the village is a perfect execution of all 3 elements. Leon pursues the missing officer to a nearby village, while being introduced to the horrors of the Ganados. Your first encounter establishes the danger and revealing what happened to our missing officer. You find your missing officer and hear what is happening to the second.
I read you. What's your situation?
You are cornered and are forced to use your precious ammo. You find a clue that pushes the narrative forward. The story pushes you in the direction of your next objective.
This is Condor 1.
Hunnigan here. What's your sit rep?
The President's daughter, Baby Eagle. It's likely she's in this village.
You find precious resources and establish how you'll save your progress. You encounter a welcoming party that will raise your tension. you'll have it race some more with a jump scare. You'll press forward and arrive just in time to witness the lovely bonfire the villagers have set up, and here is where your choices begin.
Shit.
Do you sneak around? Do you engage? If you are spotted, one of the greatest moments in video games ensues with you fighting for your life against a seemingly endless amount of angry villagers.
Here we go.
And the terror begins. Do you stop? Do you shoot? Do you run? Will you parry with your knife and engage in CQC? Do you keep your distance? What about that guy with the chainsaw?
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. It's my lucky day.
A beautiful concerto of terror and violence is what amounts to no less than a masterclass of video game design. And the best part is that it never plays out exactly the same. Every player of varying experience and skill will always play it differently. And besides a small push on the developers, all the action, all the terror was made by you. You are your own best friend and your own worst enemy in Resident Evil 4 Remake.
You gotta be kidding me.
That was enough craziness for most games, but Resident Evil 4 Remake is not most games. It manages to successfully recreate this cycle of self-induced terror for a good portion of its runtime in the campaign. After the madness of the village bonfire, how do the developers continue this merry-go-round of terror? How do you continue to escalate the tension while keeping the players on the edge of their seats? The answer would turn out to be one of the greatest innovations in gaming history.
What you buying?
Let's do some business.
What better way to escalate some tension than to sell some goddamn guns? And who better than everyone's favorite merchant of death? The addition of the merchant in the original Resident Evil 4 was completely transformative to the Resident Evil formula of exploration and puzzle solving to get your hands on some firearms. Out with the waiting for power until you've gone deeper into the hellhole, and in with the frequent stop and shop at your favorite gun enthusiasts. With a steady access of new weapons, weapon upgrades, new items and upgrades, and side quest rewards, the choices open up to new possibilities and new pitfalls. The classic inventory system is replaced with the suitcase, another iconic addition made famous by OG RE4 that allows you to organize your inventory items in a grid-based system. Now that you'll have the important choices to make. Do you leave your pistol for your submachine gun? Do you store your rifle because you'll feel safer with guns that bring more ammo? Do you take those extra gunpowders and craft more shotgun shells? Do you take those herbs and mix them to save space? None of these choices are wrong, but all of them will lead you down the road to the moment of truth. The moment you question your choices. The moment you realize you up. Conversely, if you've made the right choices and the RNG gods have smiled upon you, Resident Evil 4 Remake doesn't fail to let you feel the elation of barely surviving a close call. As you collect your hard-won drops, that elation turns to anticipation as your next visit to your friendly neighborhood gun salesman readies you to make the same choices anew and test your grit against your Ganado hosts. If you happen to get good, the terror is replaced by thrill-seeking as you test weapons against the strongest enemies in the game. A special mention has to be made to the shooting gallery, which is a new addition to the remake. It serves as a very welcome change of pace as the tension drops, and the chance to shoot some targets for some charms that you can add to your suitcase, all with one of the hottest tracks of the year blaring, and the best hype man in the business cheering you on.
Let the bonus time begin. That'll do it.
And now that we've gotten that all out of the way, I'm tired of talking about Leon. Editor, skip over to Separate Ways. I want to get down to the main event.
That's no way to finish a dance.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Separate Ways is the additional content added to Resident Evil 4 Remake, released on September 21st, 2023, starring fan favorite and my future ex-wife, Ada Wong, as it depicts the events of the main campaign from the Femme Fatale's perspective. In comparison to the Separate Ways from OG Resident Evil 4, this version plays more like a full campaign with a roughly 5 to 7 hour runtime, and with a different set of weapons and abilities than Leon, it makes for an action-oriented experience that pressures you far more quickly than the main campaign. Ada begins her rescue of Luis and leaves you with the first bit of action as a boss battle with Pasanta, who will become your new best friend in this campaign. The tension mounts immediately with no chance to prepare and just your wits to get you through. The next portion introduces you to her traversal mechanic, her grappling hook, which can be used to punish enemies from an even greater distance, helping you to close in with melee attacks in quick succession. The enemy numbers are increased from the get-go. With the raining catapult fire, the margin for error becomes minuscule as you manage your health, your ammo, and your positioning simultaneously.
So he wants me to retrieve the amber. An object of ill omen. What terrible actions will be done in its name, and who will pay its dark cost? Because in this world, someone always pays.
You slow down from the breakneck pace for a little story progression. The cycle of narration, tension, and self-determination is even more pronounced in Separate Ways.
I'm seeing quite the crowd here. I wonder what has them so riled up.
The president's daughter. Undoubtedly.
Couldn't have picked a worse time.
Consider the village infected. Complete local saturation.
I've read the file. I'll see what I can do.
As you retrace your steps through familiar parts of the main campaign, Ada makes her way to the church for her arranged rendezvous, and is promptly stood up again.
Stood up again.
And just as in the original, Ada saves Leon's hide by ringing the bell, because the first time's always free.
Don't worry, Leon. First time's free.
Told you. Luis is a no-show, so off we go to chase down our Spanish MacGuffin through some very indifferent ganados coming to see what all those bells were about. Soon after, we have our first chance to make some potentially fun and poor choices. Resources, first aid sprays,
Hey,
stocks,
stranger.
oh my.
So what are you buying?
You've picked quite the place to set up shop, stranger.
Aye. And look what it brought me.
Soon after, the game immediately escalates with another boss battle, and this time Pasanta means business.
You won't let me go so easily, huh?
Using an array of Pokemon moves, like Double Team, Scratch, Slash, and Growl to throw you off your game. Did you make enough ammo? I bet you wish you had bought that TMP stock. You scramble around the village to survive long enough to make it to Mendez's house, where you find Mendez being really mean to Leon. Ada takes exception and adds another save to Leon's tab. More narrative. Ada slips into the house to look for her lead to Luis and finds that Mendez is smarter than he looks. The chase is on as Ada runs from the village chief to a seemingly abandoned factory.
Looks like I gave them the slip.
But not before getting a little more self-determination and a reminder why cash is king.
These belong to Luis.
Run to the basement to find your princes in another castle, and a quick FaceTime to confirm your next meetup. Even more narrative.
Ada? I knew you'd find me.
That's my job. Are you about ready to hand over the amber?
There's a big house just outside the village past the windmill. You know it.
Yeah, I know it.
Then I'll meet you here. I'll be waiting.
Some Ganado villagers show up with some strong opinions on trespassing.
Sorry, Luis. It might be a while.
You run into two woodcutting enthusiasts that are just dying to give you a hands-on demonstration. You better have fixed that knife. Could be a matter of life or death. You know what Biggie used to say? Mo chainsaws, mo tension. That's how it went, right? The tension is so high that Ada literally faints from excitement. We're going to need some more narrative stat. Did Albert Wesker just take a vial of blood without consent? Not cool.
Stop wasting my time, Ada. Find Lewis,
Fetch me the amber.
No napping on the job, Ada. There are MacGuffins to hunt. There he is calling you now.
You're okay. I've been waiting and you're still coming, right?
Yes, just had some business to attend to. I'm on my way now.
Got it. See you soon. Ciao.
Off we go to chase some tension as night falls and parasites join the fray. And a little more self-determination to spice things up just before we head over to all the commotion. Until a giant pain in the ass arrives to ratchet up the tension again.
Now stay down.
You finally meet up with Louise for an extra large serving of narrative.
Hey, got a smoke?
I do. The kind you like. Now where's the amber?
Fortunately, it's not on me at the moment.
Extra crispy.
No, no, no! We can't let the medicine be destroyed!
Luis, let it go. Luis. If you're trying to kill yourself, can you do it after you've delivered the amber?
Okay. Won't be my finest effort, but it might just work. Ada, find these ingredients. And just maybe I can make a new
We're
recipe.
off to chase some tiny MacGuffin so we can get our hands on the big juicy
Find
MacGuffin.
them?
We got a long way to go, so let's hit our favorite arms dealer for a little more self-determination.
I reserve some items. Just for you. My other
And then a
customer
little
doesn't
extra
know
narrative.
Leon. Would it make me use this? Would you?
No. And who knows?
Maybe you'll live to meet me again. And then I might get you that greeting you were looking for.
Yes, ma'am. We make haste to our next MacGuffin and some serious tension as we enter a Hell in a Cell match with some parasites in armored suits.
Don't do this! Please, don't do this! Get up! Let's get up! Don't do it! Man, don't do it! Don't do it! Think of your family! Think of your fans!
And then a little narrative to keep that sweet, sweet gameplay loop going.
Okay, Luis. That's 2.
Last one should be in a room accessible from the castle wall. You bring them all to the top of the wall, and I'll have your amber. Oh, and here's some more info I recovered about that old rock. Send it down.
And then this guy.
Gloria las Blas.
Couldn't just let me through, could you?
Seriously, this guy, he's the worst. Whose man is this? Get him out of here.
Glad that's over.
Thank you, Ada.
Got everything you need.
Good. And I got exactly
We
what you
fast
want.
forward past the last MacGuffin for a little more narrative.
Oh, that's not good. The parasite is reacting to the amber.
So that's the amber. That looks like something Wesker would want.
You ready? A tu salud.
and a visit from Prasanta, but the suppressor works just in time for Ada to win the game of hide and seek. And then, just when you think you've gotten a hang of the rhythm, they decide to throw out the whole playbook and just kick you in the teeth. You skulk through the waterways, past the killer bugs and murky waters, to get to this guy and his friends. And before you can even catch your breath,
You again? I need to put that thing down.
Santa is ready to stop the foreplay and get up in your guts.
That's it. Come on now. This spot will do.
And just when you think he's finally done for, you find out it wasn't even his final form.
Can't stand the clingy type. Time to end this for good.
And just when you think he's finally done for, you find out it wasn't even his final form.
Exactly what I expected.
And when you finally put down the tail, Ada pukes out the parasite, curing her condition. Ew.
Now, to find Luis.
But then Luis is dying and Ada's racing to catch up.
A bad guy. Krauser just stole the Amber. Leon's fighting him now.
I'm on my way.
I'm sorry. I'm not going to make it. I'll send you my files. They should help.
The Amber, Luis. Where is it?
Thank you for the chance to do it again.
What are you saying?
I'm grateful. Like I said, I'm just your good old Semitic. How about you help Leon when I'm gone, eh? Speaking of... sounds like he needs me. Leon!
Luis, the goodbye's gonna have to wait.
But it's too late. She quickly chases after his killer Krauser to the clock tower.
You're not getting away. Leon, there's only time to say this once, so listen up. They took your friend to the top of the clock tower. If you hurry, you might get there before she turns into one of them.
So you aren't heartless after all. I guess I should be thankful.
Yeah, you should. Now, back to Krauser.
Once through the mines, she catches up with Leon on the boat.
Leon.
Ah, damn it.
Looking for something? You look like you've got something to say.
I have something to ask you. But I don't think I'll get a straight answer. Raccoon City. You know, after the incident, the world changed. Try to save one person, 100 others die. I guess I changed too.
You? Leon S. Kennedy. You haven't changed. You just think you have.
So here's my question. Have you changed, Ada? Or are you just trying to use me again?
What do you think? We're here. Don't think too hard, handsome. See you later.
Story of my life.
then has an impromptu performance review with Albert
Whose
Wesker.
blood are you here for this time? Mine or Sadler's?
That all depends on you. Change of plans. Of course, you're free to refuse.
Think that gun's gonna be enough?
Interesting.
Okay. I'll do it. But cost you extra.
Wise decision. I'll send you the new coordinates. And remember, I do not like...
Waiting, I know. Here, catch.
Non-stop action on the island as Ada tears her way through a battalion of soldiers. Regenerators in the lab in the dark. The rampaging monster in the comms facility.
Arm the laser.
And freaking lasers. Finally, we catch up to Leon just in time to face the mastermind behind Las Plagas, Lord Sadler.
And let it be so. Leon! Go!
Servant of the heretic wolf. This will be your trial and tribulation.
Tribulation? You're the one in for a world of hurt.
It seems to go well.
Control, come in. I have the package.
but it does not. Leon shows up in the nick of time, and then this happens.
Ada!
Holy crap, Leon. Was that like a 15-foot drop? How many times are you going to let her fall, man? We're at the climax, and all three elements of the game, narrative, tension, and self-determination, are converging together in a symphony of B-action movie tropes.
Just what I was looking for.
It's a race against the clock as the bombs are set to explode, and Ada has to get Leon his extra special rocket launcher and end his tentacle nightmare once and for all. The hero defeats the villain. But the girl gets her prize.
Ada, what the hell are you doing?
Nothing personal, Leon. Luis and I had an arrangement. Ride's here. You
But
coming?
not the one she really wanted.
I think we both know this is where we go our separate ways.
I see. Better get a move on.
And that's a wrap, folks.
Cute.
Until next time, Leon.
The terror in Resident Evil 4 Remake can easily be mistaken for action elements, However, with a discerning eye, one can see the true terror lies in you. As the devil in the details feeds your anxiety, and if you're not careful, you may pay the price with your life. Thank you for joining us for our true debut as a channel. Like and subscribe to see more content like this, and to help us investigate the best games in the video game industry. And remember, while you're roaming around the Spanish countryside looking to f*** around and find out, nobody's watching.